We are still going to move forward and look to finish up this season at the very least. But I might not play as much franchise mode tonight as I have been playing, because this is the first time that the game has just unfortunately gotten on my nerves. And not even necessarily because they're losing, but because of all the outside factors that we have talked about here. So we'll see what happens. Could just be a lot of road to the show tonight. And if so, then hey, that is what it is. But yeah, I can certainly not hide the disappointment tonight. So I'd apologize for that, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Well, the Cincinnati Reds are rebuilt if they can re-sign Lawrence Butler. They gave up a 78 overall C-rated starter and a 76 overall C-rated outfielder, 30 years old, for Lawrence Butler on an expiring deal. If you're the Astros, they better be in a playoff spot. They better be in a playoff spot. Otherwise, it makes no sense as to why they didn't trade Lawrence Butler for prospects. So the Astros better be in a playoff spot. They better be. They're in the mix for the wild card, so I guess you could say it makes some sense that they wanted to keep a half-decent right fielder. So again, that's not the worst trade in the world. As opposed to, again, the Phillies. By the way, the Phillies, who have brutalized their roster and are just as good as we are. The 26th team in baseball, the first-ranked team in baseball. Okay. Yeah. Ooh, this feels like hockey right now. Ooh, this feels like NHL franchise mode right now. Don't like that. Don't like that. Where were we in the wild card again? We're 12 games back in the division. We're half a game back. We might as well just hold on to Campbell and Meyer for the rest of the season and hope that they are enough to get us into the playoffs for the first time. I would not complain about winning the World Series this year so that I can move on to a different challenge. Just gonna throw that one out there. All right, Forrest, you're on a cold streak, but you're coming back up. Drop down Vidal Bruján. We got one in AAA there, so the extra guy in AAA is fine. Put Valley in double. Bruján might end up in triple. We'll see. This game considers you number one, perhaps playoff. I mean, you'd like to think so. You'd like to think. We will see. We will see, won't we? All right. Yeah. Honestly, we're going to run it. We're going to run it. We're not going to sell at this deadline. And we are going to hope that this team is finally good enough. Even though we have numerous pitchers who are still drastically underperforming, because of course they are. So yeah, that is what it is. Redbirds don't have two valid lineups. Well, fucking fix it then. Let me guess, messing around with those other settings screwed it up. Yep. So I switched and off and out on the main menu. I switched a setting, and it changed the settings for my saved mode. That's wow. Okay. That's a choice. That's really weird that I could change something outside of the save file but it still changes it to effect inside the save file. This game's on one tonight, man. This game is on one tonight. That's all I can say. That would be why I was noticing some odd double and triple A setups. Who did Philly have ahead of the players they traded? Nobody. They were the starters. Dooley was their starting second baseman. Hernandez was their starting third baseman. Now, they have Matt McClain, and then Cam Smith was involved in one of the trades coming back at third base for the second baseman, leaving them with McClain at second. I looked back. The second baseman was the 4th pick in last draft. The third baseman was the 11th pick in season 4. And the most notable thing they got back for those two players was this guy on an expiring contract, granted 2 arbitration years. I'm sorry, that it's just indefensible. At least for me, it's completely immersion breaking. Completely. Yeah, I don't want to trade Cleveland. Do not want to trade. Thank you very much. All right. Well, in terms of this draft, which again was very shot in the dark heavy. See if we can bring in Max Stone. He declined. This could end up being probably my worst draft yet, but also it's the one that we paid the least amount of attention to. Benedict Smith declined. What about Frank Montanez? Well, we got one. This is probably the best guy of the bunch. We know Hendrickson's a C potential. Potentially a 70 some odd overall, though. That's not too bad. Robbie Metz, not looking that hot, but honestly, I mean, we might as well just try to sign everybody. Wendell McDaniel signs. What about Hendrickson? He declines. What about Robbie Metz? He signs. And Chad Doherty declines. Yeah, so we missed out on the vast majority of our draft picks. That's okay. Whew. Nice little D potential in the first round. Daniel was only a C. Montanez was decent. But yeah, again, it was mostly shot in the dark picks this year, so I'm not too miffed by it. To be honest, this is the first season. I don't really care. Who else got somebody good? I'm literally just going to look for a potential generational talent, which Antonio Davila is not quite there, or Davila. 64, 20 years old. Yeah, don't worry. All the good picks will be traded soon anyway. Well, so the Giants were able to get one of those generational talents, 20 years old and 88 overall out of the gates, the highest rating I have seen for a player so far, easily. If they fucking trade this guy, I am probably going to have to stop playing franchise mode. I got to be honest. If they trade that guy, I'm probably tapping out until there's a patch. Probably. Because goddamn. Jack, we had an absolutely abysmal draft, but I rushed my way through it, so it was to be expected. There's a couple of good players here and there. It's probably a better overall draft than last year's draft was. But that's not saying too much. Go ahead, Philly, trade him. For some reason, you're trading every other goddamn prospect that you have. Can't wait for you to trade him. But yeah, it was a decent draft overall. But yeah, again, we had a nightmare of a draft because we were just focused on the big team actually trying to win something. So, mark my words, I hope they do. It'd be nice to see Minnesota win something for once, wouldn't it? All right, the team has really turned around, 74 and 65. We're somehow now only 3 games back of the Reds. And we are currently in a wild card spot. So, it was a good thing that we held on to the team as it was. But we will have our September call-ups, and barring a brutal collapse, it looks like we're finally going to make the playoffs. So that's promising. Gonna send down Dino Beltran. We'll put him in double. Put him in triple. They still play. So Fleming's back on the roster. Tulibits could get called back up. Vidal Brujan. We're going to want to call up to double A with Beckett. Yeah, we'll see if Tulibits is the one that gets called up. Rodriguez could definitely be called up as well. Shortstops, those are looking fine. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, 4, 5. There's still a decent amount of numbers there. That's fine. In terms of the pitching, you got Henry Silva up to an 80. Pretty damn good. Every other pitcher we have is looking pretty good. Sasaki's gotten that ERA down quite a bit. Bond. Spassato not doing too hot in AAA. Bond isn't exactly crushing it. We're definitely sending down Valdez. He has not been good enough. Pedro Cairo, welcome to the majors. Feliciano's been okay. Chu's been okay. Steven Dixon, welcome to the majors. And we will call up Hoomst. I think it's honestly going to be Tulibits. 256. Jacobson, are you on the 40 man? No, you're not. All right, Tulibits. Come back up to the majors, buddy. All right, that works. That works. What are Doug's stats? He's back up to an 86. 6 holds in 81 innings. 108 strikeouts to 34 walks. With a 3.1 FIP rating. He's been good. He has been very good. I mean, again, this team should be outstanding. They should be. There's just no denying that. All right, lost to the Yankees. We have 3 games against Atlanta. Lose the series. 3 games against Colorado. Lose the series. We're now 4 games back of the Reds. And the wild card lead is down to 2. 3 games against Houston. Win the series. 3 games against Milwaukee. Lose the series. 4.5 back of Cincinnati. And in a tie... Actually, not in a tie. We're 1 game up on the Pirates. That's right. But the Braves, 2 games back. So are the Nats. The Rockies are in there too. Okay. 4 games against Pittsburgh. The AAA team has made the playoffs. We lost 3 out of 4, so we're definitely not winning the division. And we are in that 3rd wildcard spot by 2 games over Atlanta. We have 3 games against Cincy that we swept them in, and that should be us confirmed for a playoff spot. It's real close. Braves and Mets, pretty much only the Braves that can catch us here and screw it up. We're 1 win away. 1 win away from finally making the playoffs, and it's at a time where I'm probably the least interested in this mode so far. So, damn. Isn't that a shame? Lost to the Cubs. We get an injury as well. Who's the injury to? Forrest Fleming gets hurt. Broken ankle. He's pretty much done for the year then. Let's call up Omar. Get him back on the roster. Beat the Cubs. And that does it. We are in the wild card spot for the first time. It took us way too long to make the playoffs. But 84 and 78 was enough. We draw Atlanta in a wild card series. You also have the White Sox and Royals. Winner takes on Cleveland. Seattle and New York. Winner gets Boston. Chicago, Pittsburgh. Winner gets Cincy. Winner gets Cincy. And then, of course, the winner of our series will take on one San Diego. So we did make it, which is nice. We did make it. Very nice, but damn. I can thank Philadelphia and other teams like them for being dumb and not knowing how to build a team. Ivan Herrera. He's over 30 now, so he's declining. Quite rapidly as well. He's down 2 overall points in one season, despite hitting .318 and having an .897 OPS. Where is the logic in that? Where is the logic in that? Where is it? Because I don't see it. That is ageist. He also had a .996 fielding percentage and 6.2 WAR, but he's getting worse. Oh, I don't like it. Aren't most of his stats. Dude, he lost 6 power against lefties. He lost 2 to clutch, bunting ability, durability. I wouldn't say most was to fielding. He did lose something in every fielding category, but I just disagree with the way that mechanic's working right now. Leonardo Bernal, basically, again, there is very little reason to keep anybody over the age of 30. Very little reason. Like, yes, they can still perform well, but they decline way too quickly. In which case, God forbid you have somebody signed over the age of like 33. Like, the contract is most likely ending up as a complete albatross. I don't know. It just doesn't make too much sense to me. Leonardo Bernal is a backup. 680 OPS. Wasn't as good, but again, backup catcher. Chunky Harris at first base. Missed a lot of time due to injury. 18 home runs, 59 RBI. Yeah, Chunky took a bit of a step back this year, but also lost 2 overall points, including a -7 to both abilities, contact and power, against lefties. I might have to go check what his batting was specifically against lefties, because that feels harsh for a 23-year-old player. I want to know. That's what this series was designed to be, right? Is like testing out, like, okay, how does this game work right now towards launch? We take a look at the Chunkster here. He better have been dreadful against lefties, you know? 253 against lefties. He was worse against righties, but his ratings against lefties dropped dramatically. The math just isn't mathing. Like, I don't want this entire stream to be me like complaining about this. Yeah! But in fairness, Respawn's here, and he's the perfect guy to complain about, or to complain in front of, because I know he feels my pain in regards to certain aspects of games. Respawn, thank you so much for the raid. How did the stream go? I hope you are doing well. I hope you are enjoying this game immensely. I have hit a little bit of a wall in terms of how franchise mode's working this year, unfortunately, when it comes to the lack of AI trade logic when building their team, when trading, and player regression not making too much sense to me. Gotta be honest. Not making too much sense to me. Oh, Hoskins dropped all the way to a 67. Jesus. Only hit 12 from... Yeah, Hoskins is cooked. We gave him another chance, but brother is cooked. Respawn, thank you again, though, for the raid. Again, I do appreciate it. This is the first night where I'm like, man, certain aspects of this game. Hello? I guess the bot's not going to work. That's great. Cool. His contact was still higher against lefties, so it might be the reason his average is still better against lefties, even with the big point drop. Maybe. Your guess is as good as mine, right? At this point, your guess is as good as mine. Tell him the Phillies trade. Okay, so one more time for the feeling. So here's Josh Dooley. He was a 4th overall pick last year. And here's Carlos Hernandez, who was a 1st-round pick a couple of years ago in 2028. Philadelphia traded both of them to Cincinnati, leaving them with a 75 overall 32-year-old as their starting second baseman and this guy as their replacement third baseman. Good luck trying to justify that one, anybody. If you want to take a swing at it, feel free. But literally, like the idea is Philly's been bad. They've had high draft picks, and then those draft picks are ready to go. Get out of here. We don't want you. It defies logic. It really does. How did Christian Campbell do? Mid-season acquisition from the Red Sox. We want more. Yeah, they just like the high draft picks. They like being on stage early. Trade logic's improved for the 15th year in a row. It makes me so sad. Like, literally, for the rest of this game, if it stays this way, I'm probably going to have to play with trading off. Because to me, it's that bad. Again, for some people, it won't be that immersion breaking or whatever, and that's cool. But for me, it just ruins it to see teams trading away top prospects for basically nothing. Yeah, it's just not great. It's not great. And since he's already won 2 World Series, that is true. So yeah, we've made the playoffs for the first time, and I'm not even overly excited about it right now, which I hate. I hate that I'm not overly excited about it. How did Marcelo do once he was acquired? Ugh, he wasn't even that good. I don't even know if we want to play Marcelo. At least he's a good defender. He was better than Rodriguez, at least. But yeah, so I apologize in advance to anybody that sticks around and might have to potentially endure more of my complaining. But I do feel like the complaints are valid. Jackson Holiday, 808 OPS this year. So not amazing, but not bad. See, Alexis Alonso, good development this year. He was due for it. 807 OPS, that's not too bad. Oy, oy, oy. Honestly, to our he's 28 and he's already fallen apart. What are we doing here? Like, I know that can happen. It's realistic. But can his attributes at least suck more then? Like, if you're going to have him decline that sharply, can you have his numbers at least be able to justify it? Because that's not a bad season. That's better than his first season was here. And in that season, he got better. He was good in the field, too. He only had 1 error. 4.7 WAR. Like, I get then the argument could be like, oh, well, I have this really good guy and he played like complete shit. But I'd rather have that than be like, hey, I have this good guy who played well and he's declining at 28. Which, again, players in real life can decline at 28, of course. But from a logic standpoint here, it just isn't computing. Like, why would he decline that much? Especially a -7 to contact versus lefties. I have to look. What were Jackson Merrill's numbers against lefties this year? 164. Okay, see, at least that's justifiable. Compared to the other guy, that's justifiable. He was garbage against lefties. That's perfectly fine to see that -7. Why is his defense getting worse? Right? Why is his contact and power against righties going down when he hit 313 against righties this season? I can understand the lefty stats going down. And then you could argue like discipline, clutch, whatever. I mean, we have the numbers for RISP, don't we? And he had 229. Is that worthy of a 2-point clutch drop? Like, maybe. But again, the fielding getting worse makes no sense at all. He had 1 error this year. 1. So I'm not seeing the consistency from the regression that I'd like to see. I'm if anything, I'm just confused by it because apparently you would think this is working as they wanted it to work, but I'm just failing to see that vision, you know? So, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this team is in a great spot to try and win the damn World Series this year. Like, there's no denying that. You know, like we look at league leaders, Ivan Herrera and Jackson Holliday were both top 4 in batting WAR in the NL this season. Drew Gilbert led the way for the Mets. And AL batting WAR was Gunnar Henderson at a 7.2 and Alberto De La Rosa at a 7.0. And then pitching WAR, Simeon Woods Richardson was number 1 with a 4.8. Actually, Copeland, Gore, they both had the same. And then NL pitching WAR, we had Roki Sasaki at a 3.6. So yeah, this team is very much in position to try and win something. And we'll see if they do, but I gotta be honest, I think I'm switching the road to the show early tonight. I am just very much down on what I've seen from this game tonight. And if we are going to finally do something now that we've made the playoffs, I at least want to be in better spirits for it instead of just kind of being down. So I'm going to go play some Road to the Show. And we'll see if I can bounce back into better spirits for this tomorrow because I'm sorry. Like, I cannot see the logic in some of these systems because I just don't think it exists.